Hey there everybody and welcome back to another episode of Across the Ocean. My name is Matthias from Zurich.
And I'm straight from Miami.
It's fantastic to see all your smiling faces again as we're taking part in another episode of Across the Ocean. Hello James mate, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, buddy.
Over there on the other side?
Mate, it's still summer here. It's deluxe. It's October, it's warm water diving, I'm still in rash gardener shorts. This is why we live in the tropics, man. That's all I can tell you. How's your frozen Arctic tundra?
Frozen? Arctic-y, tundra-ish.
Where are you?
It's nice. You know that I enjoy cold water diving. It's not like I'm afraid of cold water, but I have to say it was a bit chilly last week. I went for a dive in the Lake of Zurich, and I really had to put back on my dry suit for this dive. So we're back into that time of the year, which is okay because the water's gonna clear up. It's gonna be a lot clearer and nicer when we talk about the diving, but obviously it's just only for the tough boys now to go diving here in Switzerland.
Like you. Better for the filming.
Like me.
And where are you exactly? That doesn't look like your studio.
No, this is not my studio. I have actually paid a little visit to my parents-in-law because the father of my girlfriend, it was his birthday 2 days ago, so we came here to celebrate with him, and because it's so nice here and they've got a huge house and we can stay here, so we decided to stay for a couple more days and we'll take you guys with me. So this is a little different than my normal setup, but I thought it was still gonna do the job for today's episode that we're recording.
Lovely. So what are we talking about today?
Excellent. We are talking, well, let's talk about that cup first of all.
I know, right?
Because you were...
but wait.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
How cool is this?
I know, it just showed up from a fan of the channel, so thank you, whoever you are. It had no note in the box, no letter, no nothing. It's shipped from Colorado, so whoever sent me this, thank you very much.
Awesome. I would like a cup like that as well. My contact details are in the channel description, so feel free to send me a cup like that as well. Whoever you are, thank you. Alright, so having put that aside, let's get into today's topic. We are talking about emergency kits that we need to save our camera, our underwater camera system, if we run into issues while being on an assignment, while being on a dive vacation, on a dive trip, even just out for the day on a boat. So I would really like to pass on the word to you, James, because we've just discussed it briefly beforehand. Both of us have had things happen to our camera systems while being on assignments or even just on a day trip out on the boat, and we had to react quickly and fix the gear so that we were able to keep recording for the dives to follow. So you have put your personal emergency kit together, and I'm really curious to see what you have in that kit. So I'll pass the word first to you, and then after that I'll show you my personal emergency kit and we'll see how it differs from yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So two things before I show you my camera saver dive kit. Number one would be, this is very specific for my underwater camera setup. It's all the tools I need, and it's kind of minimalist because I have a regular saver dive kit that has a lot more tools, a lot more O-rings, a lot more parts and so on, that I take on every dive, whether I've got my big camera with me or if I'm just teaching students or whatever I'm doing. So I have like a saver dive kit and a saver dive underwater filming kit. And I did already make a film about the saver dive kit and what's in my saver dive kit, which I think you're going to link up above there in case people want to see that. So this is going to be very camera specific. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, my camera actually right now the camera door to my housing for my GH5 is actually back at backscatter at time of recording this, because I had a bit of an oopsie and broke the camera housing. Now, it really brought to light this topic because the actual part that broke wasn't something that I had or could fix with the contents of the saver dive kit I'm about to show you. So the point of that is it's always a, you know, you learn from experience. So I've had this oopsie now, thankfully, in my studio where I'm not on assignment. I can ship it off to Backscatter. They can change out the part that I need them to change out. It's actually the battery contacts, and return the unit to me without me losing any work or any filming opportunities or whatever, because I'm teaching for the next couple of weeks. So just so happened I was back in the studio, changed the battery, this part broke off, and I can get it serviced. However, if this had have happened in the middle of July when I was in South Africa on the sardine run, I would have been completely stuck. So it makes me think, okay, what else could I add to my Saver Dive kit that could have helped me save this particular opportunity? So let me go through it all first. First up, it's the bag. So the bag is a Cinebags toolkit bag, which they make specifically for underwater camera people. So it opens as a book, and you have pouches on both sides. And then I have another insert pouch here, which I'll get to in just a moment. But essentially I have two sort of pouches that fold together and keep everything nice and organized. That was an Allen key. I spend literally half of my life in this studio picking up Allen keys that I've dropped. So
I can imagine.
It's not unusual. So obviously vacuum kit, right? That's not really a Saver Dive kit. That's an essential tool for taking my underwater equipment anywhere. So obviously my pump and my little gauge there, and of course the recommended lubricant for my camera manufacturer. So that's one that they kindly include from Zen Underwater, who make my dome. And then I've got a little tube of Nauticam official grease. And then I also have a little thing of eardrops. Why do you have eardrops in your Camera Saver Dive kit? Well, eardrops are alcohol. They're basically rubbing alcohol 95%. Alcohol dissolves salt. So if I have any little contacts or any little touch pieces that I need to clean, this is a great solution to have. So it comes in a, you know, a small little dropper bottle, so you can use a controlled amount and just clean any kind of metal parts that might have got a little bit of corrosion on them, or anything on the outside of the housing that, you know, you've given it a good soak. Obviously this is just a really good desalination piece of kit. So that's on one side of it. Yeah. On the other side I have my tools. So that Allen key that I just dropped came out of this set right here, which comes again with the Nauticam housing. I also have a very cool little mini screwdriver that has a bunch of different heads that you can switch out, and a locking mechanism. So I use that because it's very small and very compact. I have a small knife, of course, just a little folding pocket knife, and of course spare batteries. That's the main thing. So my camera housing takes a 2450C battery, and my Nauticam monitor housing takes a 2032. So I make sure I've got spares of all the batteries I need in that. So that's pretty much it on the main case. I also carry, of course, plastic O-ring picks. You don't want to be using metal picks on your housing. These come from Nauticam. If you lose these picks, which is easy to do, take an old store card or a credit card or anything like that and just cut a little piece out of it, because it's just flexible enough but stiff enough to get in there and get the O-rings out. So that's a good substitute if you lose the actual official picks. Of course, I have a microfiber cloth for cleaning. Now this is not for drying. This never gets salty. I do not use this to clean anything with. So it stays nice and clean and salt free, and there's no anything gritty or anything. So if I do need to clean the inside of my dome housing or the outside, I'm not sort of, you know, going to scrape it or scratch it up. So that's like my clean cloth. Of course I have towels and other stuff for general drying purposes. And then there's a pouch that comes with the Cinebags kit, which is actually pretty cool. I want to show you this on the back side of it. It actually has a packing list for underwater filmmakers. So it's specific to, the sections are camera and lenses, housings and ports, the toolkit, strobes and all the things you'd need associated with the strobes, and electronic backup support, even things like laptop. Remember to take your laptop, card reader, laptop charger, voltage adapters, all that good stuff. So it's really, really cool that they've done that. And I find it very useful. I actually do use that checklist right there. And then this is just full of the actual O-ring specific to my Nauticam camera housings. So they are just coiled up in there, and I keep them separate so they can't get nicked or pinched in transit when my bags are being rattled around everywhere. So that's pretty much my kit. I know compared to you, Matthias, you've been doing this a lot longer. You've learned all the lessons that I'm learning the hard way right now. I'm sure that your kit is a lot more involved and evolved. So let me see what you got.
Sure, my pleasure. Yeah, it's first of all, I really like that packing list on the backside of the pouch. I think that's a great thing they've included there. My kit actually doesn't really differ too much from yours. It is a little bit bigger in size, I would say. So this is sort of what I'm carrying with me. You can even see it here. So I'll probably just switch to the top side camera now and you'll see what it is. It's basically the casing or the protection case of my housing for my GH5, the Nauticam housing, and in here this is what I carry around when I'm around in Switzerland. I just throw it in the car, I go everywhere with it. I know I've got everything I need with me. When I'm traveling, I'm taking an airplane, I obviously need that to carry my housing with me, so I take the insides out, and inside here, just put that to the side. Inside here I've got a couple of loose things that I'll get to in a minute, and I've got two pouches that are sort of my essentials that I use or that I take with me wherever I go. So let's have a quick look at what is inside these pouches. Just gonna empty them here on the desk, and then we'll go through the stuff that wasn't covered or that you didn't have in your emergency kit there. It looks actually like a lot more than what it really is. So, okay, what have we got here? We've got obviously our vacuum system. That's the same as you have. We'll just put that aside. I don't have my O-rings as well organized as you have. These are my O-rings. So they're just in the original baggies, and I've always just had them like this in that case inside here. Obviously that's a no-brainer. I have several of these microfiber cloth with me. I like to have them in different colors because I know that one is solely for cleaning lenses and ports, and then I've got another one which is for cleaning other parts of my camera equipment. So keeping them in different colors helps me to just know which one is for which purpose, and I don't start mixing them up. That's helped me a lot, otherwise I can't remember which one I use for what. What else have we got? We've obviously got, you've mentioned it yourself before, batteries. Very important, spare batteries. It's happened to me once, and you wouldn't believe where. It happened in Australia, out on Osprey Reef, which is about a 24-hour boat's ride from the nearest land. And my battery on my monitor housing ran out, and I didn't have a spare with me. Stupid me, I really did not have a spare with me because it's a different battery compared to the one that you have in your main housing, and I didn't realize that at first. Lucky for me, the onboard videographer, she also used Nauticam, and she had a spare battery that she was friendly enough to donate to me, so I was able to keep filming on that trip. Otherwise it would have basically ruined my filming, at least using the monitor for the rest of the trip.
I hope you bought her many beers.
Yes, she did. She did get paid very well for that. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, batteries, very important. What else have we got in here? I've also got a toolkit in here. So these are just the standard Nauticam Allen keys. I've also got a sort of weird tool here that I've picked up. I don't even know where, somewhere along the way. It's got some Allen keys in here, some screwdrivers, and it's nice and compact, and basically just sits here and comes with me wherever I go. I also have a pen with me, and this is solely just because whenever you don't have a pen, you'll need one, and whenever you have one, you probably won't need one. So I just have one in here for emergency reasons. You never know. I've also got little the cases for my memory cards, because it happened to me on competitions that I had to hand in my memory card for the judges to pull down the footage so they could control that I wasn't using any other footage in the competition, that what I've recorded that day. So having these ones with me, I can put my memory cards in here, they're protected, and I can use the pen. I've also got a bit of tape somewhere around here. I can put a bit of tape on here and actually label my memory card so I know that the same memory card's coming back to me, because I like using quality memory cards and I don't like them being replaced with cheap ones during a competition, and these things happen. So that's also one thing that I carry with me at all times. There is obviously the silicone grease for the O-rings and the picks that James already mentioned. I have several of these little Nauticam tubes with me at all times and several of the picks. Now, another good thing, if you do lose these picks, if you're a guitar player, you can just as well use the guitar pick to get the your O-rings out of the place where they sit. It's also perfectly fine and safe to do that. We've also got a Swiss Army knife. It's not just a knife, it's actually got a Swiss cross on here as well. It's the knife. This is a nice backstory here. It's the knife that was given to me by the army when I was released from my duty. And ever since, it's been living with me and been taken to every dive site and every place I dive at. I do have also filters with me. Well, that's not really an emergency item, but it's something that I carry with me here. It's a red filter for my GH5, and it's a magenta filter for when I'm diving in the Swiss lakes where the water is greenish rather than bluish. I do have one of these with me, and I find them very useful. You probably know what that is, right? I
can't see it very well. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
On the other camera.
I'll show it to you. It's an air pistol.
It's an air gun.
It's an air pistol. And this air pistol, I use it sometimes, depending on where you are, you don't really have the space or don't really have the luxury of having, you know, a big table where you can dry off all your stuff. And sometimes you also have to quickly replace, whether it be a battery, a memory card, whatever. And you just have to make sure that your gear is completely dry before you start opening it up. And this is actually great. You can just hook it up to your low pressure inflator hose, and then you've got an air gun, and you can just air gun all the water away from your housing, and it works great, and it's very efficient and saves you a lot of time, especially on liveaboards. I found that to be a great little helper. So I have one of these with me at all time. What else have we got? Let's go to this over here. This is my second kit. And in here, I always carry a bunch of cable ties with me. A diver's best friend. And it also counts, it also goes for underwater imaging equipment. You can always use these to tie stuff together. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've tied pieces of equipment together because something broke off and I didn't have the specific piece to replace it at that time. And just for like a sort of emergency solution, these cable ties can do a great job. I also carry with me some super glue, always. And I'm not saying that you should super glue your housing together, but if certain things break on your housing, then super glue is fantastic, a fantastic solution and option to just get something together so you can go back in the water and still be filming on that next dive.
Example, please, Matthias. What would you super glue if it was broken?
What would I super glue?
Yeah.
Well, I've had on an arm, this was a couple of years back, I had the connection. It was a cheapish arm that I got off eBay somewhere. The connection, the ball mount of the arm actually broke from the arm itself, and I needed that arm to be able to attach my video light to it, and I've only had this one arm. I didn't have any replacements for it there, so I actually ended up super gluing the ball point to the arm itself again and using it like that, and it worked. It was probably not the most, you know, stable connection that way, but it did the job for the remaining couple of dives that I had to undertake on that project. And after that, I did replace the arm completely and got something a little more quality and a little more durable. But for things like this, I would use the super glue.
There you go.
What else? I've got some bolt snaps in here, and I normally don't really do attach the camera to myself because I find it slightly restrictive in most situations. but if there is a dive where we're expecting a strong current, I will not risk not having the camera attached to me. So for these situations, I have these bolt snaps with me that I can use if I need to. Now, let's get to the most important part of my emergency kit, and it's this one here. See if the camera can focus, this one here. It is a cleaning and scratch removal kit for your dome port, or for your lenses basically. And I've used this quite a few times. You've got one little little box here that will just help you keep your dome ports nice and clean and shiny, and it helps actually keep the dust away from them. And you've got another one which is for fine scratch removals. So with this one, if you have a tiny little scratch in your dome port, and we're talking acrylic dome ports here, not the glass ones, you can't do this with the glass ones, but they will also not scratch as easily as the acrylics. And with acrylics, if you do get a scratch in there, you can use this product here to actually get it out. It will take some time and you have to be patient, but you can get it out. And I've got a good story with this as well. On the last World Championship in underwater videography, not the one that just happened a few weeks ago, but the one 2 years ago, where I was competing for Switzerland. On my first test dive in Tenerife, one of the crew on the boat was handling my camera in such a way that I got a scratch on my dome port. And obviously a dome port is not something that you carry, you know, a spare with you, even though maybe you should, but I didn't, and most people don't. So you end up having a big scratch in the middle of your dome port just before you're starting an international competition. And it was visible on all of the footage that I was taking that day. So if I didn't have had this one with me, I would not have been able to use my dome port for the entire week of filming and competing in that situation. So this is an absolute lifesaver, and I can absolutely recommend this this product here. And it's also, there's different products, but I like the Novice line. They're really high quality and they've always done a great job for me. I'll be happy to link them down in the video description for you guys. There's something like 20 bucks a set of these, and last you forever, and can really save your ass in such a situation.
That was something you actually turned me onto through the video on your channel, so you should definitely link the video of how to clean your acrylic dome port, because I watched that like 3 times. Before I have the Zen dome that I've got now, I had an acrylic dome for a housing that was scratched to all hell. I mean, I bought it secondhand. So I bought it new, with the damage, and yeah, same thing. I bought the kits, the 2 or 3 bottles, and your video really helped with that. I really, you know, I got it.
Excellent.
I didn't get it perfect, but it was a hell of a lot better.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's not, the aim is not to get it perfect. The aim is just to get it as good so that no one notices that there is a minor scratch on your dome port. But yeah, more than happy. I'll link that as well up here somewhere, and obviously down in the video description, so you can go and check that out if that's something that interests you, or if you ever run into the situation of having to actually get rid of a scratch on your dome port. Awesome. So you see there's not so much difference in the 2 emergency kits that we've put together, and I don't think that there's gonna be a big variation from the emergency kits that any other underwater filmmakers use, because it's the basic stuff that you need to have in there. And I think then there is personal taste and personal things that you put in there because you've been through a situation, or you've experienced something, and that sort of made the decision for you to include that item into your kit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything to say about my kit?
Well, it's a lot more expansive, and a lot of your stuff is coming from the fact that you've got many, many more years than me, and you've got all the stories to tell that have led you to build the kit the way you have. So I'm not as far down the road as you, but I think there's a lot of overlap there. A lot of things that you mentioned I have in my Saver dive kit that will be with me anyway, whether I'm shooting or not. Bolt snaps, cable ties, that kind of thing. I did have a thought on cable ties as well, guys. Cable ties, like, I 100% agree with Matthias, they are absolutely essential. They can, save you in a pinch, but never rely on a cable tie. So once you fix something and you've rigged it with a cable tie and you get the dive done, don't forget to go back and take those cable ties off and replace them with the proper part, because cable ties corrode incredibly quickly with UV light, strong sunlight, and salt water, and they become brittle. And if you're actually, you know, relying on something that you've rigged with a cable tie and that cable tie snaps, you're probably going to lose whatever it is. So, you know, I see people all the time with a GoPro cable tied to a bolt snap, and it's just one giant stride entry away from ping, snap, camera gone. So so I do like them for emergencies. I have them with me, absolutely, but never rely on them 100%. You know, just use them to get you out of a pinch and then revert to something more permanent.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Very good point there, James. Thanks for mentioning that. Always make sure that you replace them whenever you have the chance, and don't keep them there permanently. Awesome. And I think that wraps pretty much up our episode for today. Hope you guys were able to get something out of it, and we were able to sort of show you a bit of an insight into our emergency kits that we carry with us at all times when filming underwater. What's gonna happen in the next episode, James?
Mate, we're at the end of the year already. It's going to be Christmas. We should go through our wish list 2021. I think that's kind of traditional that we do that, and look at what's on our sort of holiday gift guide / wish list for the holiday season coming up. Sound good?
Sound good to me. I've already got a couple of ideas, and I'm thrilled to share them with you in the next month episodes.
Awesome.
Fantastic. James, thank you so much for being here and joining me again for today's episode. As always, an absolute pleasure having you here and being able to exchange these thoughts on these topics related to underwater filmmaking with you.
Absolutely. Great to be here, mate. Great seeing you.
And thanks to every one of you guys as well for tuning in again and being with us today. If you do have any questions, any comments regarding today's episode, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. We'll be more than happy to get back to you there. And also, if you do have any topic suggestions for, well, not for the next episode, but for the episodes coming up in the next year, in 2022, feel free to put them down in the video or the comment section, I'd better say, below, and we'll be more than happy to pick those up and see which one we can realize in the upcoming 12 months. So thanks again for your time, and there's not much more for me to say than goodbye from Zurich, and we will see you in the next episode.
Take care.
Bye bye.